Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to A House of Many Doors. Before we step out of the city and back into the house proper, there's a couple of things that I think we should still do. First, we might be able to gather news. If we're trying to make money, it probably makes sense for us to make sure we're gathering news so that we can go home and write about the things that we've seen. And it's possible that failing this test would be really bad, but I can't imagine it can't be too bad, right? Failed the vigilance challenge. It takes you a long time to find someone standing out in the open. The young woman looks at you in fright as you ask her for the truth of recent events. She opens her mouth to speak, then her eyes go wide. The shadow of wings falls over you both, and her mouth snaps shut like a vice. Maybe later. Alright, and then we could just wander the streets and try to have an encounter. I'm down for it. The Parade of Idols, a street broad and marble and spotless, lined with the statues of the sanctioned gods, pyramid-shaped Scorthidian, pig-headed Gravidon, Old Lady Death with her cowl and scythe and needles, even Angle Crab in all its oscillating, geometry-defying glory. Oh, sweet Angle Crab. And the empty plinth, where Abja's absence is her monument. This mere nothingness does not quite capture the emptiness that is Abja. Perhaps you could change that, and build a nothingness statue in her honor. Well, Abja is probably a dangerous god to involve oneself with, but we're kind of like doing the bidding of the gods is kind of our whole deal right now, right? I make it my mission. You examine the plinth. Abja is not merely the void, she is the god-shaped void. You build the shape of a god out of darkness. You will need drugs, of course, to empty your mind before the task begins, and a dash of madness. So this will require 3 bottled darkness, a hideous revelation, a color dust, and a necrosia. Tonight you will not sleep. Visions of nothingness torment you. So we can't quite do that. Okay. I think then we're ready to leave. Let's pour over the map for a moment here, because I don't exactly know what my plan is. We do need to get to Founder's Fire. We did need to get back to Dr. Grindilo. Do we have a passenger who was supposed to come here? Hold on. Wait a minute. No, we totally don't. I don't know why that marker is there. Relationships? No, this isn't what I want. Where do I see my passengers? We have the Mycena passenger, but they want to go somewhere else, right? Hold on. I'm still learning to navigate the various bits of menu here. This is... yeah, that's not the thing I want. Well, our Mycena passenger is definitely not going here. We don't have the option of releasing a passenger here, so no, we totally don't need to take one here. Alright, so then I think we want to go east, right? City of Knives is nearby. We want to get to Passenger's Fire. We do have to go back home. We have to... boy, we have so many things to do. We have to take Tybalt to train with the Poet Knights. I'm going to go out to the City of Knives first. So it looks like that's just a straight shot east. I'm down for it. We could do that. To the City of Knives. If the cities are a family, the City of Knives is the wild younger brother. Sure, I have a younger brother, and he's basically just knives. Makes sense to me. Looks like probably no interactables here. We still haven't bought any fuel, and we're doing okay on what we had. I'm so nervous about another bat jump scare. We had a note there. It's gone now. That train is too large for me. I don't feel comfortable interacting with anybody until we get that second gun. Then I'll feel better. I saw that. I saw a note about a distant scream. That seems like a thing we shouldn't interact with. Fortunately, he looks quite slow. Try to brush past this. I do not want to tear down the cairn, probably. You know what? We have a lot of sanity. It's a horrible rationale. It's very gamey. But we have enough sanity to afford to tear this down. Success! You discover a skeleton clutching a rusted sword, its ribs encased in a breastplate. A great find, though your crew murmur darkly of a curse. In your sleep that night, you battle an armored warrior again and again. When you wake, you're covered in bruises. So we gained a historical curio and some old bones. I guess the idea here is that, much like real SB, in-game SB is worried that if he doesn't do some desecrating every now and then, he literally won't make it through, right? Like, our material circumstances are dire enough that they drive us to do things that we believe are awful and wrong. I think that's a good enough reasoning there. I think that holds. That tells us some things about our character. Again, looks pretty empty, this one. Whispered promises on the wind. Again, probably not just talk. That's probably not figurative at all. What might be in this wreck of a building? A library from another world collapsed in on itself. Let's search for a book. I would love to find a book. We find nothing. You search for hours, but all the books have been eaten away by darkness and damp. Ah well. I figured the consequences on that were probably going to be pretty small. I mean, I don't know. I guess we could have gone in there and found some sort of evil dragon or something. Or, you know, it being a house of many doors, something much, much, much worse than a dragon, I guess. And so we're going to try again. Hey, we passed. Success! Mary Glover, your swabby, finds a book still lying on a miraculously untouched shelf. She blows eons of dust from the cover and shoots you a delighted grin. A meandering treatise about something or another. I'm sure we'll find somebody who might want a treatise. So the crew automatically slows down if you get too close to anything, it looks like. And this room is just remarkably empty. This should be the last one before the city, right? Did I lose count? I did lose count. Oh, because we're actually one thing south of where I thought we were. So I didn't lose count. We just weren't in the row I thought we were in. Okay. Easily enough solved. Let's see what's happening out here. Ooh, I really like that art. So far, I really like all of the art we've seen in the game. A city of gargantuan megaspikes stabbing toward the ceiling, backlit by the peculiar glow of the river scenic. The viridescent light casts shifting, dancing shadows on the walls. Watch your step. Life in the City of Knives is notoriously cheap. Well, we probably don't really need to rest and recover. Let's gather some news. Knivish newspapers are reserved purely for parliamentary propaganda. Instead, you only learn the popular gossip by chatting to a barkeep, and he doesn't charge that much for a pint. Attempts to evacuate the area around the New Thorn have ended in confused failure. The Golem Guard have raided the Corpse and Hatchet public house. A scandal concerning parliamentary corruption. I bet pretty common, actually. Alright, let's just wander the streets. Let's get in some trouble here. On the recommendation of a street peddler, you make your way to the Prong, one of the few megaspikes on the less affluent western side of the Scenic. Although it's smaller than the megaspikes to the east, it still takes you half an hour to reach the top in the auto conveyor. Here you find a delightful balcony garden open to the public, just as the street peddler told you. The garden affords the best view of the City of Knives that any traveler could ask for. A viridescent vista stretches before you, glowing water and green-yellow smog, with the megaspikes silhouetted like a fleet of shark fins in the distance. It's a stark, strange sight, and one you won't forget for a long while. A breathtaking spectacle indeed. So I don't think we want to do anything else that costs money, because we're trying to save. That was a remarkably uneventful visit. So we definitely want to go east again, right? East and try to swing around to Founder's Fire and then come back this way. We definitely want to hit the City of Keys again. You know what? Maybe it's best we hit the City of Keys again and then leave that to the east to Founder's Fire. Because we could probably trade in some of our current events and stuff, make enough to get that cannon. Yeah, let's do that. Head back to Dr. Grindelow. I have pronounced it a different way every single time I've said it. I should have counted the number of times we need to go south. Well, that guy looks way too interested in me for my own good. It's fine. We'll go south, and we'll go west, and we'll figure it out. Yep, order it torn down. There's nothing of value, even the skeleton turned to dust. Bad times. Damned creatures. When will they leave me alone? Probably when I stop disturbing graves and stuff all the time. It's fairly large sanity loss, actually. Enough to make me a little anxious, if you know what I'm saying. What have we here? A ruined pub. Nah, that's cool. I'm good. Oh, more scorpion men. A great winged shape flies low overhead. Alright, easy enough to avoid. So, one more south and a bunch west. I guess let's take the south now, and then I don't have to worry about counting. And hopefully we won't get into a situation here where it's not feasible for us to go west at any point. God, once we have more cannons, I'm going to feel so much more comfortable engaging in basic combat, and... That said, it does seem like you take a lot of damage. If we had been doing twice the amount of damage to people's cannons in previous combats, probably we wouldn't have gotten hit that much. Yeah, probably it will be okay to fight once we have one more weapon. Oof, and imagine once we get to 4. An abandoned cottage. Yeah, let's enter the cottage. And it's a guy. I will persuade him to join our crew. I'm possibly going to succeed at that. I sure did. I could really use another... Boy, what do swabbies even do for us? I don't know. You're a gunner. Welcome to the crew. You get the unshakable sense that invisible eyes are watching you from some secret perch. I mean, they wouldn't even really have to be invisible. It's very easy to watch us unseen in this place. Okay, this train isn't after us, which means that I am a little more likely to, Yes, it absolutely did. They respond only grudgingly to your offer of parley. The captain is taciturn, and his crew murmur darkly behind him, their hands on gnat's breath from the holsters at their belts. A gang of smugglers, or mercenaries, or bandits not in the mood for a fight? You don't know, and don't care to ask. Here's the thing, I think jump scares totally suck, and don't add anything of value in things that are supposed to be action horror themed. Here, I think they're just unpleasant for no reason. I'm gonna see if I can mod them out or something. I'll spend some time researching it online. We could compare maps. We have a thrilling yarn. They might be able to tell me something. You know, I'm still looking for a lost city. Map updated City of Bridges. They pull up alongside you and listen with bated breath as you relay your stirring tale through the radio. When you're done, they send one of their crew to compare their maps with yours. The City of Bridges is marked on their map. One of the 7 cities, though of course there are only 6 now, you must remember that. You dutifully copy it over. Okay, I think that went alright. Y'all got anything for sale? Some angel wine. Ooh, they have some fancy angel wine too. The captain nods. He has things which he went to great pains to collect. Probably stolen or scavenged, if you had to guess. He shows you his cases and cases of angel wine. Illegitimately acquired, no doubt. He even, and here he lowers his voice, has acquired a rather rare vintage of the stuff, but he won't let that go cheap. Well, I don't know if it's worth buying angel wine for 70. The fact that we were able to do it there as part of a limited event suggests that it probably was. But I don't remember, and we're so close to being able to buy that cannon. Let us write a freelance article. I have news. Let's report about the City of Knives. The hollow trumpet, or the key details. We're still trying to build our rep a little bit, right? Several acquaintances make unexpected house calls. Cool. And then I can do it again, right? Because Clayton's Mill is nearby, you will not receive a bonus. Hey, I'm used to not receiving a bonus. It's fine. Okay, the key details. Listen, we're still getting back of the paper pages, but we're building up a reputation. It's fine. We don't have any sellable information. Oh no, I do. I have an unsettling conjecture. That's true. That said, hold on a second. Let's not be in a big hurry. Let's accompany Spire to see the doctor. The little albino doctor holds a lantern to Spire's third eye and watches it twitch. He pokes it and withdraws his hand quickly before the toothed eyelids catch his finger. He holds an assortment of occult tools over it, a bell that twists violently from his grip, a candle that melts in an instant, a book that refuses to open, a 2-pronged stick that splits in half down the middle. That's something terrible and magnificent, says Dr. Grindylow with an eager grin. I would dearly like to speak with it. I need salt, warding iron, and some other powerful relic. Okay, well, we don't have those things, but worth noting. I currently have 0 of all of it. We can probably buy some of it here, honestly. Let's buy a gun. What was it? This one? Yeah. An extra gun. Okay. Excellent. So now we have 2 of the same crummy gun, but that's fine. 2 guns is better than 1 gun, even if they are crummy. We wander the streets a bit. Step Temple Street is always loud with doomsaying and soothsaying and naysaying, but this is different. A heated debate between 2 opposing churches has gotten out of hand. The armored Gravidonites have been thoroughly outwitted by the arguments of the silk-robed Nahasite scholars. Which world spat the iron swine into the house? Or did he even come here of his own divine will? The Gravidonites answer these questions the only way they know how, with fist and boot and club. So, we are unlikely to be able to intervene on the Nahasite side, or we could just not get involved. I like Gravidon. Who doesn't like Gravidon? Perhaps the priests of the Undreaming Carcass will be grateful. Besides, they're winning. Let's just jump in here. I failed the grit challenge. You leap into the fray on the Gravidon priest's side. The Nahasites are already broken and bleeding, for the most part. One of the priestesses has a staff that coils into life, striking and biting of its own accord, as she weaves Ophidian circles around her attackers. You mostly just blunder about and get in the way. She's unreasonably fast, damn her. You try to strike her and end up hitting one of your allies. After you and the Gravidonites have each received a dozen bites, you are forced to retreat in disarray, the laughter of spectators in your ears. Unfortunately, it seems you've won no friends today. Gravidon and his priests hold you in contempt, while of course the Nahasites despise you. What a good, exciting time. I feel like we should buy some fuel, which makes me a little nervous. Do we have anything to sell? We have some Aronax silk. I think I'm gonna do that. We also have our fetch mirror. We also have our gallows candle. That stuff's low enough in value. I think we want to buy up to... Yeah, let's buy to that, and let's also rest and recover. Alright, we have no money left, but I think that was worthwhile. So, we go back to our dwelling. We could write ourselves a poem. I'm not sure if we'll have other uses for these particular currencies, though. What do we have right now? Oh, yeah, horrifying ordeals. Of course we do. We have tons of horrifying ordeals. Let's write a gothic horror. You set your pen down exhausted, unsure how much time has passed. 493 lines of gothic horror poetry. As grim as your daughter and as your son bestowed, always leave tender into morbid fright. Always leave tender into morbid odes. The mistress comes at night to kidnap and indict. That's bad. I've done a bad. And we can entertain a guest. Who do we want to invite? Who do we want to invite in and be friendly with? Let's bring Spire in. The glow of his eye casts your living room in odd violet hues. I'm trying to put him at ease here. I get these awful headaches, he groans after an hour of stilted conversation. I'm sorry, I might need to get home. Well, how did you get that eye in your head in the first place? Spire fidgets anxiously. I barely understand myself, he admits. Back before the eye, I like to take daguerreotypes of architecture. And one day I took a picture of some purple eye graffiti I found, painted on a wall in the City of Masks. And then the next day I woke up with this. He points at his head and goes to fetch his coat. Now, really, I have to go. My head is going to explode. He clutches at his head as he runs down the street. Okay, well, that was not super useful. But that does give us another unsettling conjecture we could part with. We need money pretty badly. You have, as always, been most helpful. Does the smile turn genuine? Just for a second? I could sell my other conjecture. Yeah, alright. We're desperate for cash. I'll just leave. The governor's man is silent and smiling. He does not say goodbye. Gee, what a surprise. I think I want to advertise for a new crew member. and then we'll leave here with like 80 guineas, which is not a huge amount, but it's enough to get us out of immediate trouble. Okay, you wait for 1 day. Ah, a pen pusher. A pen pusher who's a shark guy. And this'll let Bradley off the hook, which is what we need. Although innocuous translated, his name is a terrible insult in the Karchar language. That's what a Karchar is. Right, that makes sense because we heard about a shark. Okay, yep. He stutters when he talks and begs you to forgive him if he makes a mistake. At a mere 7 feet in height, he'd be a runt amongst his fellow sharkmen. Plus 8 esoterica, plus 2 spirits. Seems useful. Welcome aboard. Okay, and then we're good, right? We leave. So, where are we headed? Did we... I thought we discovered another city. Oh, the city bridge is right there. Okay, well then we're going there. So we'll go... Maybe we just go south 3, stop by Waker's Respite and see if we have any interactions we can have there. Then swing by... Boy, it's a lot. There's a lot of places that we ought to go. Here, let's go like this. We'll circle down and then out to the Poet Knights at Fargyle Keep and then kind of like back around. We'll figure stuff out from there. So yeah, we'll swing past Waker's Respite on our way to the Surgeons Association. That's not the button I wanted. I want to go south to the city where the masks wear faces. It's like not even the weirdest thing we've thought about today. Alright, 3 times. And if we see a fight, we can get into it. Obviously, any fight that yields less monetary value than we have to spend... Oh, right, I have... Hold on. Exhaustion. Ah, there we go. You slave over your journals and notes, scraps of poetry, places you've been, people you've met. You fall asleep at your desk, tormented. You dream of trees. A blue sky blazes above, unfathomable, endless. You are back in the orchard, where Persephone hangs from her cage of spears. When she sees you, her eyes gleam. The more you see, the more you write, the further your mind opens to me, she says. Many have come to me in a dream, but few gather enough fragments to return. So there were others. Do you think you are the first to dream of escaping the house? Asks Persephone. Others have promised to find me and free me, but death caught them first. Who killed you? I was betrayed, says Persephone, killed by those I thought my friends. We came here to... Her voice dies in her throat. Blisters swell and burst on her lips, and fresh blood runs down her chin. We came here in order to commit a crime. I am afraid I am forbidden to speak any more of it. I have never seen a place like this inside the house. There's nothing but blue overhead, no ceiling at all. It is enough to make you giddy. We are in the orchard, she says. The golden garden outside the house. How does it feel to be under an open sky? Oh, how do I feel about that? I think I feel that it's liberating. If I want to get out of the house, right? She smiles. Keep walking in that direction and you will stumble upon the house. She points, maneuvering her arm past the spears with some difficulty. It's smaller on the outside. Well, of course it is. So, how can you help me escape the house? Out here in the orchard, the house finally loses its grip on you, she says. From here you can travel to any other world, all the infinite multiverse at your fingertips. The fruits of the trees are glowing brighter now. You can no longer look directly at Persephone. She's just a dim silhouette surrounded by a furious halo, so our time is running out. I am a little leery, if I'm being honest. It does seem too good to be true. I don't trust you. I do not ask for your trust, she says. I ask only for your help. She bows her head. The orchard buzzes with crickets and birdsong. Yeah, okay, that didn't allay my fears at all, but I will help you. Thank you, SB. But you are waking up, and our time is running out. Your first task must be to find the door which leads out into the orchard. To do that, you must... The glimmering fruits are incandescent now. The rest of her sentence is lost, as a haze of golden light overtakes you. When you wake, you are still blinking away red spots. You close your eyes and snatch at vague leftover images from your dream. Spears, shining fruits, a rotting face. But you can't reach the orchard again. Not yet. You must gather more fragments and secrets. And also, must drive your train in a sort of a forwardly direction. I know I said I'd feel better about combat with the extra gun, but I still would prefer not to fight trains that are bigger than we are. Although I guess that doesn't necessarily... The fact that they have more cars doesn't necessarily mean they have more weaponry. Okay, it's this one, right? This is the one we want to go east from? No, I passed it already. Yeah, whatever. It probably wasn't gonna... They probably weren't gonna talk to us anyway. Oh, we should talk to the new guy. He stutters when he talks and twists... we've seen this text already. Hey, do you know anything about the City of Glass? I started to write a book about this once, says Penpusher brightly. It was to be called The City of Glass, How One Karchar Solved History's Greatest Mystery. He sighs. I got 20 pages in before I realized I had no idea where to start, so I scrapped the project. Well, that's a shame. Is it weird that the shark guy is the guy I want to flirt with the most? I think we should keep ourselves focused here. We've discovered a rough stone tablet sitting on a lectern. It is carved with runes that seem to subtly crawl atop the granite. Well, forbidden knowledge. Obviously a bad thing, but also maybe a good thing at the same time. A cryptoglyphic tablet. There's nothing else to be found here. The stone tablet feels oddly warm to the touch. What's weird about that? Also, our injured people are still quite injured. We should probably, get some doctoring done. So I'm just going straight south, right? Yeah, straight south until we encounter the Surgeons Association. Hey, maybe we can get some medical help down there. Obviously, everybody keep your eyes on your heart and everything, but... God, I hope so. Otherwise, we might be in some grim shape. Alright, you know what? Let's encounter you. Some ill-mannered brutes. Yeah, I refuse to pay. Let's do this thing. Alright, so gun, and panorama, go to a far corner. I don't like how grouped up we are up here. Penpusher, it says Penpusher's unwounded, but he looks very wounded. Wait, am I out of actions? No, I have one action left. Why can't I get Rutherford to move? There we go. Come on. Okay, 2 hits. It looks like we didn't actually do any more damage to the gun, though. Hold on. We're going to try shooting the gun with 2 weapons again to verify. And then... I'm going to have Bishop Landman move down here at the risk of gathering too many people in one place and maybe increasing the likelihood of us getting hurt. And then I'm going to have Delgado move up to here. And he can work on this engine? I don't even know what this part of our train is. I don't know what any other parts of our train are, if I'm being honest. Okay, good fixing. Okay, well, we took out one of their guns. Alright, those things are primed, and we gotta spread out a little bit here. I can't even tell if the surgeon's actually helping. Boy. That, I guess? Boy, that track change is not, it's not very smooth. So it looks like this combat's still quite dangerous. Ow. That said, it looks like we've probably got this now. I'm gonna fire both of our guns over here just in case. And... Whew. Yeah, it doesn't look like the surgeon's actually helping anyone. Despite the fact that he has an aura around him. I would have assumed that that's what that was for. Sandy, run to the corner? I don't know, man. I'd love it if Sandy could survive. Okay, we did miss one of them, but they now have no more guns. Can't issue my orders yet. Oh, God. Well, we know where we're shooting. And then we actually... We have the same number of guards that they have, it looks like, so we don't really want to close to melee. I'm gonna retreat once. Not any more than that, though, because I'm leery of having our shots miss. Decreasing our accuracy too much. Okay, we killed that gunner. And they have 11 hull left, so hard to imagine them getting anything done here. I guess we should try to splat that engineer before he fixes the gun. And then I'm actually good. So that hurt a lot, actually. It was not a lot easier. You live to fight again. Is there anything left to salvage? A Karcher prisoner. And that's it. Well, phooey. So it turns out fighting is maybe just never worth it. Accumulate guns for the times when you can't avoid it, but try to avoid it. An abandoned cottage. Yeah, let's go on in. Hey, it's a guy. Persuade him to join our crew. Cool. I could use a new guard. Welcome to the crew. Never have enough guards. We could have probably stopped and talked to that train. Alright, we found it. The City of Masks. Here we'll have a chat with the surgeons. First thing you notice is the stars twinkling just below the ceiling. A good crop this year, it seems. The second thing you notice is the noise and smoke and bustle, or rather, the lack of it. Considering its size, the City of Masks is relatively sedate. There is an air of sleepy dignity. Yeah, I'll buy a coffee and gather up some news. We need that real bad. Lord Myrmidon spotted in conversation with a political rival. Another tax has been introduced to the fury of the middle class. Caro's flag temporarily shut down following a fatal hazard coffee overdose. Well, well, old patterns in a new thread, I've decided. I do not have the money to repair my incredibly damaged hull. Boy. An urchin delivers a letter from Lady Nictamine. I understand you have made the acquaintance of my counterpart on Withering Streak. Care to pop in for natter and intrigue? If I had anything at all to sell you, I would absolutely sell it to you. Oh, I had a glimpse of another world. Yep, desperately need to divest myself of this. As always, your company has borne delightful fruit, says Lady Nictamine. Oh, we simply must do this again. Repair my hull. Definitely need that, right? Let's... I guess wander the streets? We could release our prisoner. Boy, I wonder... We should wander the streets first. One performance troupe in Branidazzo Plaza has attracted quite a crowd. They're performing The Lily in the Marsh, a centuries-old play. But there's a twist. All the famous central roles, the lily, the lover, the spider, and the knight, are performed by 3-foot-tall puppet columns, grating out their lines with mechanical precision. Meanwhile, performers dance in the background, twice as tall as the tiny golems, imitating abstract forces in evocative costumes. Each actor represents something like the turbulent sea, the bustling crowd, the plague, or the lily's regret. It's an avant-garde interpretation that would never be seen in the theater houses. But out in the streets, the audience cheer and clap, though they melt away when the actors begin to circulate with cap in hand. You know what? I know we don't have a lot of money, but also, we should support the arts. They deserve a reward for breathing new life into it. You strike up a conversation with the man who played the Spectre of Death, though he's remarkably jovial out of character. He takes your money with heartfelt gratitude, and in the course of your conversation, you somehow end up discussing the play's ambiguous final scene. Oh, the knight's death is a subversion of the narrative, argues the Spectre. It tramples narrative, spits on it, and shows us reality. In reality, strength and bravery and cleverness don't matter. Only the lucky survive. And because we cannot accept this, we write fantasies where strength and bravery and cleverness are important. The play's genius is that it shows us truth. So we could make a counter-argument, but we probably won't. I think I'm just going to accept that. Let's reflect on mortality for a moment here. I might be able to do something with that reflection. And then I'm going to spend a considerable amount of money on the Penitentiary Museum, I guess, because I'm curious what's in there. Masks who commit crimes are confined to the Penitentiary Museum for decades or centuries. They hang on the walls, mute exhibits for gawking tourists. Trumpet-voiced tourists, children eating ice creams, dozens of masks hanging from the walls, each a famous villain in their own right. One of the imprisoned masks is sculpted into the shape of a writhing squid. Dame Kraken reads the plaque. Attempted to murder the Lady of Blades, accusing her of ancient wrongdoing. Confined to the museum for 130 years. Due for release in 1849. Below the plaque is an extended description of Dame Kraken's sword battle with the Lady of Blades, apparently conducted atop a burning tower. Almost certainly embellished, of course. I mean, a thrilling yarn is worth something. Alright, I think it's time to help Rutherford with his goal. Now, as far as they know, I'm still a back-alley surgeon helping gangsters staunch bullet wounds, says Rutherford. I'm not even sure they're aware I ripped up my license. Wait, you ripped up your license? Okay. You're sitting at a rickety table in Rutherford's old surgery. It is indeed in a back alley, and a rat burst squeaking through the door as soon as he heaved it open. He made you tea that smells more like vinegar. The association will have receipts, records from whomever they've been selling these hearts to. You can find them, but first we need to be able to walk around unchallenged. Well, we could try forging licenses, not something I have any skill at. Or we could stake out the association, try to find something, learn something, or we could just pretend to be a mechanic. I think this plays into our background really well. Let's try it this way. Everything's always broken, so everyone trusts a mechanic. You arrive at the gates with a toolbox and a pair of overalls. Rutherford stands beside you in a hard hat, holding a hammer like a man who knows how to crack a rib cage. It's not usually what they're used for, but, well, no, let's be honest, it is. A big building like this, there's bound to be stuff falling off or going wrong. You put on an air of authority and speak with great expertise about boilers, plumbing, and clogged-up chimneys. With a wave of the guard's hand, you're through. Stern portraits of doctorly types stare down at you in the corridors. Where do you think we could find the receipts, hisses Rutherford. Yeah, that's a great question, actually. Okay, so we're most likely to pass this via Esoterica. You know what, I did some research beforehand, obviously, of course I did. 20 years ago, the association hired a construction company to perform miscellaneous renovations on the building. A neighbor took the association to court for loud drilling that was shaking his foundations. This is all, of course, in the public record. You head down to the basement with Rutherford and discover a trap door concealed beneath a dusty chest of drawers. It's locked, of course, but it's nothing that 20 minutes with a crowbar can't fix. In the secret compartment underneath, you discover the receipts, stacks and stacks of payments, received directly from the factory in the City of Keys. Well, I mean, that makes sense, right? So we got an incriminating evidence and a terrible secret. Let's get out of here, says Rutherford. We have what we need. You go to the City of Masks newspapers with a scoop so good that a bidding war ensues. Oh, I love that. The next day, headlines do about as much damage to the Surgeons Association as a well-placed artillery bombardment. Are doctors stealing your heart? They exclaim, although all mentions of the governor and the factory seem to have been mysteriously expunged. The buyers are, apparently, anonymous. A mob march on the association almost as soon as the papers go to press. Pundits are calling it the scandal of the century. The Surgeons Association looks unlikely to survive the week. Rutherford himself is a minor celebrity, a fact that seems to surprise and disturb him. Let's leave the city, he says to you grumpily, hiding in his surgery from journalists. I've done my bit now. Time to go. So we got some reputation here, and with Rutherford, we've taken on the divine scrutiny of Scorthidion, which is maybe useful, and also 300 guineas, which is just phenomenal. What a wonderful thing. Shouting journalists follow you almost all the way out of the station. And with that, I think we're maybe ready to move on, although honestly, now that we have all this money, maybe it's best we advertise for a new crew member. So it would cost us 50 guineas to hire a pamphleteer. Yeah, let's do it. So we could take on Banjo Smiggs. That's a great name, and he looks like a skeleton man, which is delightful to me. Or Valeria Bell Roberts to replace Sandy Brackett. I don't want to replace Tybalt, of course. You know what? Yeah, I'm into it. Banjo Smiggs, a supremely confident ghoul in a weather-beaten coat. When you ask about his past, he says he was involved in legitimate business, Then he winks and, and clarifies that he means crime. I appreciate that. I'm surprised he can wink. Banjo Smigs, welcome aboard. I'm just overjoyed about how weird and cool our crew is getting. Alright, so we have lots of other places to be and things to do. We could buy some more... we're probably fine. Yeah, let's just leave the city. We have plans yet to commit to. So I think... Our poor passenger is going to be so annoyed with me. I think we're going to the Poet Knights. I think Fargyle Keep is our next stop. We're never going to have a better time than this, right? So south one, and then west forever. South, to the Old Hallow Pub, as friendly a place as you could hope for. Beyond that, well, just barbarians and savages, you know, like me. Like me and my whole crew. So, Rutherford, how do you feel that went? He's drunk as sin. Hey, what a surprise. It's the boss, calls Rutherford, sloshing whiskey down his throat. Hey, boss, are you here to boss me around? I thought we were past this, man. You know what I've noticed, boss? Asks Rutherford, putting an arm around you. None of these papers dared mention the factory or the governor. And the rate at which the Heartlights are being manufactured, it's barely slowed at all. What do you think that means? Well, it means that the Surgeons Association was probably only ever a sideshow to the real heart theft. Precisely, says Rutherford, enunciating the word with drunkard's care. The governor sure has access to a lot of warm bodies. Orphans, visitants, prisoners. I wonder how the harvest went this year. But still, Rutherford raises his bottle, face twisted into a spectacularly insincere smile. Here's to making a difference, eh? Well, 20 apprehensions, and he likes us better. We're doing something. He drains it in a single swig. He doesn't feel like we're making a difference, but we're making a difference. So, the dream said we need to gather more fragments. That might mean more apprehensions, but it might also be the case that now it's okay to start spending our apprehensions. I'm going to hold off for the moment. Where are we at on that? 29. Let's push to 50, see if we get the opportunity to dream again, and if we don't, then we can start spending. Alright, I want to talk to Banjo. Banjo Smigs. It's a great name, it's a great look. I think I like everything about him. Know anything about the City of Glass? Well, I visited there when I was just a little lad, says Banjo. Hell of a pretty looking place. Spiraling towers and walkways of glass, rainbows everywhere. Then it fucked off. Okay, not that helpful. Banjo is crooning a song as he pilots. Through the holes in his throat, you can see withered cords vibrating as he sings. It sounds like a dog being sawn in half. So he's not a skeleton exactly. He's still got some flesh. He looks genuinely hurt when you ask him the name of the tune. Well, you really don't know it. Everyone loved that song back in the day. It was sung on street corners for pennies. So where are you from? Oh, you know, a clack of yellow teeth. Here, there, every bloody where. Never been to stay in one place. That's why I like this job. He pauses. I'll tell you what, boss. Can you do me a favor? Let me know if you ever pick up a bottle of that Caloram rum. I used to have that stuff practically on a drip when I was alive, and I'd love to give it a try again. He bursts into another song. It continues to remind you of animal cruelty, but there's real joy in the dead face that sings it. Okay, so we gotta find some Caloram rum for him. Wage a quiet war. You're sure that Banjo's been breaking into your room and very subtly rearranging your furniture. That's a character detail. Tavern from Another World. We're not searching for... Oh, no, I should have searched for a drink. We need rum. It's fine. I want to limit the amount of alcohol that's on board because I'm worried about Rutherford, but we do need that rum. Alright, well, I'll make sure to search for a drink next time. And we're going to continue to avoid combat because apparently it's still terrifying. It's good, though, that... Ow, I just ran right into that. Just absolutely ran right into that. Hey, that time I didn't get scared. Maybe our lot in life is improving. I'm glad that we bought the second gun. I think it was a good idea. Next time we get into combat, next time we get into a mandatory combat, I'll feel a lot better. But yeah, we're going to keep avoiding unnecessary combat. That's really something. There. Is it? I'm going to just back up and let it be on its way. And since it doesn't seem interested in killing me, maybe I should go and check it out, but also terrifying. Okay, what have we here? That guy looks like he's not interested in me. Nope, never mind, he was just clearing the obstacle. Yep, we're getting out of here. Left myself a little bit of a... I have a needle here. Ah, it's fine. I'm a great pilot, it turns out. Or rather, Banjo Smigs is a great pilot. A ruined pub. Okay, we search for a drink. Success is unlikely. We did find the bartender. I failed. You searched for hours, but there's nothing but broken glass. And the bartender. You know, honestly, this dude seems remarkably uninterested in us. How far are we from where we're going? Okay, we're right there. We're gonna fix old Tybalt up yet. And then, once we got all of his problems out of the way, then we're gonna flirt with him. Here we are at Fargyle Keep. Is this watercolor? I don't know enough about art to be able to identify, but something about this says watercolor to me. Spires soar to the ceiling, pale as sculpted wax. Around them a moat, glimmering and lethal. That is the silver of Mercury, not water. High above you, red pennants ripple in the house's strange gusts and exhalations. The drawbridge is lowered. The Poet Knights, it seems, are receiving visitors today. Well, that's awfully good news for us. The Poet Knights are happy to talk. In fact, it's difficult to make them slow down long enough for you to scribble something down. Sir Bruin has organized a tournament. More poems have been pinned to the leafless tree in the courtyard. One of the squires has gone on an absurdly overambitious quest. Well, well, the Poet Knights' lives are utterly tranquil. They have no right to look so glum all the time. You know, maybe they don't actually like poetry. So, let's do the Tybalt thing here. Lady Juliet oversees the Poet Knight's combat training. When presented with Tybalt, she looks him up and down with obvious dismay. She coughs. "Forgive me," she says, "but I don't have time to train every wandering novice who comes to the keep. I have enough trainees here already." Well, let's try to persuade her. Lady Juliet sighs. "I am a poet, and I know empty rhetoric when I hear it." Well, that's unfortunate. So we either need to become a Poet Knight so he can squire to us, or we have to bring her some laudanum. Okay, I can try to acquire some laudanum. That doesn't seem so hard. Let's enter the castle. Knights are sparring and singing in the courtyard. Acolytes shout blistering poetry at target dummies, who explode in showers of splinters and straw. Wow. Maybe I want to be a Poet Knight. I have to become a distinction poet and get 50 esoterica and 50 grit. I don't even know what my stats are now. Where are my stats right now? Information? I know our crew's helping us with them, but I also don't... I'm a poet. I've written at least one poem. I've written 2 poems, in fact. I love poems. I'm so good at them. Yeah, how do I actually see my stats? It's probably really obvious and I'm just missing it and dumb. Well, let's spend an evening with the Poet Knights. So we want to pump esoterica and grit if we want to become a Poet Knight. That would be a fun way to resolve Tybalt's problem. The Poet Knights invite you to a bohemian evening of poetry and discussion. It largely seems to involve lazing around on a circle of scattered cushions, puffing tobacco, drinking whiskey and laudanum, and taking various mind-bending drugs. Occasionally, a poem is performed to ragged applause. I have a captive audience, but I'm not much of a... I'm a poet, but I'm not a good poet. I'm gonna try it. Let's espouse on the nature of art. I failed. You climb to your feet, somewhat wobbly, and begin to advance a personal pet theory about art's purpose. But your words run away from you and spill garbled from your mouth. The knights listen politely until you've ground to a halt, then start talking about something else. And the affair winds down. Okay, well, I tried. Hold on, are we leaving? It just sort of, had me... Yeah, I guess we're leaving. Okay, well, let's, we enter the castle again, there's nothing to do, so yeah, we're leaving. Okay. Well, now we at least... Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant to do. Leave... Pour over the map is what I wanted. So I guess we should go back to the City of Engines. We could pick up new information from there and try to visit the Hostage King. So we want to go north and then east. North a bunch and east a bunch more. Totally doable. In fact, maybe east first. There is really way more than a passing similarity with the Sunless games here, yeah? It does really feel like sort of a lost cousin. Or maybe not even so far removed as a cousin. Which is good news for me, because I really enjoyed Sunless Skies, and I tried to get into Sunless Sea again after playing Sunless Skies, and it's just not... the beginning of it feels... It's mechanically a lot tighter, and that makes the beginning of it feel so tedious. And I get you could just, like, look up a guide. The advice I saw when I looked online... like, I Googled online, I was trying to be very careful, because I didn't want to spoil any story stuff. But I was like... what are the most basic tips? And they were just like, look at this guide. Just go read everything you should do. I'm not going to give you any general advice or things to watch out for. Just follow these steps until you're ready to play the game by yourself. And I was like, that's not fun at all. That one got me. Okay, you're ignoring me. Let's have a chat. A plain-spoken merchant. So we don't have anything he wants, it looks like. Oh, you're one of those maniac explorers from the cities of Keys, are you? Hope you have your affairs in order back home. He's just a simple trader. Perhaps a little too plain-spoken for my taste. You got anything interesting for sale? Some chillstone? Okay, I don't need chillstone. It's weird we teleported him back in time, which is a little weird. I'm definitely lost, by the way. I don't know how far we need to go in either direction at this point. Oh, east, once. That's all. It turns out I'm great at navigating, just not on purpose. City of Engines. Let's try to get to the Hostage King. I don't know how we're going to get beneath Tarwater Bay. Hold on. Gather news. Okay, now let's do it. We'll have to be careful, says Dr. Delgado. You're sitting on a bench near the rusty shore. Rocketmen streak overhead, flailing figures on tongues of fire. Searchlights sweep like white knives through the dark. Somewhere distant, a siren blares. We just need to get to the waterline without being seen. The Technic squid will carry us the rest of the way. Seems unlikely to work. Back of your neck is prickling. At any moment, a beam of light could fall on you, followed shortly by gunfire. I'm gonna try it, though. We're gonna spin the wheel. Ah, the blood wheel was with us today. You slip down the beach like two rippling shadows, vaulting over concrete barricades and picking your way carefully through the barbed wire. Finally, you stop at the gently lapping waves. Countless flecks of rust crunch and shimmer beneath your boots. Come on, says Dr. Delgado brightly, striding forward into the oil-black water. Pip, Pip, follow me, no need to... And then he is gone, leaving nothing but a few bubbles bursting on the surface. It's true, I don't want to risk swallowing anything that could be found in the tar water, but he seems to know what he's doing. Your mouth fills with foul chemical water. Your throat burns. Something snakes around your torso and drags you down, and you have no choice but to sink. After several minutes of sinking, something solid is pressed over your eyes. You fumble at it for a moment before realizing it's a pair of goggles. A copper-tasting tube is pushed into your mouth, bringing a welcome rush of oxygen. Finally, you can open your eyes and look around. A colossal metal squid surges through the water, dragging you and Dr. Henry Delgado in its mechanical tentacles. He gives you a thumbs up. When we look down, something is glowing so brightly it can be seen even through the oil-black water. Below you is an underwater citadel of whirring steel and bronze, a flowering of cogs and cables and pistons that puts even the city above to shame. It shrieks and clatters and shoots great gouts of boiling water from its chimneys, and you get the uncomfortable feeling that it's only seconds away from exploding. Hordes of abominations scurry like ants around it. They cluster like supplicants. Adamantine crabs roam the junk-scattered floor, grabbing discarded things in their clumsy claws and scuttling back to base. Technic squid float serenely above, like a swarm of razor-tentacled jellyfish. Trash shamblers brawl amidst the wastes, ungainly agglomerations of garbage fighting each other over scraps of new metal. Breathtaking indeed. Here we are, announces Dr. Delgado as your squid descends. You're both still underwater, so it comes out more like... I was gonna say. You and Dr. Delgado walk through the clanking citadel. At some point, you enter a glass dome, passing from polluted water to stale air. You remove your goggles and spit out your breathing tube. Dr. Delgado starts chatting to you merrily, but you can barely hear him over the noise of the machines. The Hostage King sits at the center of his machine city atop a throne of spinning clockwork and chuntering engine parts. You somehow expected him to be bigger. His fingers end in cables that stretch out to the surrounding machines, and his bald scalp is dotted with electrodes. His eyes are glass circles, shining two beams of warm gold light upon you as you approach. Dr. Delgado stops you short. We must kneel before we address him, he says. We must not look into his eyes or we'll be blinded, and we must only address him as Your Majesty in Exile. Please, don't make him angry. I am gonna follow custom. Also, it's wild that the last thing was a breathtaking spectacle, but this isn't. You and Dr. Delgado both kneel. I return, Your Majesty in Exile, calls out Dr. Delgado. Sorry for my absence. I was working on the demon and it exploded. When I woke up, I had washed up on the shore above. Welcome back, Henry, says the Hostage King. His voice is broadcast from 100 speakers all around you, some booming a bass rumble, some hissing out a distorted electric buzz. And I see you bring a friend. I am not going to look up on account of I don't want to be blinded. Introduce yourself, averting his gaze. The Hostage King nods when you introduce yourself. A traveler, he muses. Well done, Henry. In an accident of fate, you have brought me exactly what we need. For the first time among the jumble of machinery, you notice dozens of chains. The Hostage King is swamped with them. He lifts his cable-fingered hand, clanking the iron links. Our work on the demon has been stymied for too long, he says. We are missing vital components that we cannot obtain here beneath the waves. But perhaps you can acquire them for me, traveler. What is the demon, Your Majesty in Exile? The demon is the machine that will help me escape from my exile, says the Hostage King. A machine that understands and predicts the movement of every single atom in the house. A machine that can calculate all its contradictory laws and mechanics. And I've been helping, says Dr. Delgado proudly. Yo, that sounds extremely useful. Why are you imprisoned here, Your Majesty in Exile? It might be the case that I'm not supposed to lead the conversation like this, but I am awfully curious. I built the City of Engines with my own two hands, says the Hostage King. I found worlds with lenient scientific laws and imported those laws into this corner of the house. I built an engineer's utopia, and how did my citizens repay me? They turned my own weapons against me, forced me beneath the waves. Dr. Delgado is shaking his head. A grave injustice. We shouldn't ask about reward, right? That's gauche. What do you need? I will communicate my desires once you have returned to the surface, says the Hostage King. I will send a trusted servant to observe and instruct you. A squat, frog-like mechanical thing waddles from the bowels of the surrounding machinery. It appears to have been cobbled together from rubber tires and mattress springs. This machine creature has been built to function even outside the City of Engines, says the Hostage King. It shall act as the avatar of my will. The frog thing wipes one of its glass eyes with a handkerchief. Honored to be of service, it croaks. Yeah, I'm in. I'm absolutely in. Very good, says the Hostage King, settling back in his jumbled throne. Before you leave, you are welcome to sample the delights of my citadel. You walk away with the mechanical frog thing hopping alongside you. My name is Laplace, it croaks. Of course it is. It croaks. Did I mention I was honored to be of service? Because I am. I'm programmed to always be of service, and to always be very honored about it. Before we leave, I want to say hello to the rest of the ministerial cabinet. That's the wrong voice, says Dr. Delgado excitedly. They'll be thrilled to see me again. I'm sure they were very worried. Okay, well, we're doing it. I mean, yeah, sure, as long as we're down here. We might not be back for a while, so... The ministers are men and women with deeply tired eyes, dressed in identical white coats. They scurry back and forth around a misshapen pillar of clockwork, ignoring you and Dr. Delgado entirely. This is the demon, says Dr. Delgado, and these are the men and women who've been working on it. He introduces you to each of them one by one, using titles like the Minister of Infernal Affairs and the Minister of Impossible Ambitions. Occasionally, one of them will throw back their head and cackle, or rub their hands together and murmur about vengeance. I wish I had an awesome title that made me want to throw my head back and cackle. As you can see, they're a well-adjusted lot, says Dr. Delgado amiably. The Hostage King has summoned the greatest scientists from a dozen worlds. One of them shoves past, giggling. Yeah, let's have a look at the demon. It's so complex an assemblage of parts that you can barely tell where the demon ends and the citadel around it begins. Perhaps the entire whirring-clanking citadel is just an extension of it. We feed it instructions with these cards, explains Dr. Delgado, shoving a sheet of stiff card punched with several holes into a slot at the machine's base. Currently, it can perform complex calculations and simple abstract thoughts. It even started building new sections of itself. Oh, that's a good idea. After a moment's grumbling hesitation, the demon lights up. A voice blares from the loudspeaker at its top. I wrote a poem, it declares proudly, spitting out a new hole-punched card. Ah, wonderful, says Dr. Delgado, holding it up to the light. It seems we've finally got it doing art. That is a disquieting incident indeed. This time you are provided with a submersible to transport you back to the surface. It comes equipped with comfortable furnishings and a well-stocked drinks cabinet. Hey, is there any rum in there? Well, it's not just scientific curiosity that makes me want to build the demon, remarks Dr. Delgado, twisting the cork from a bottle of wine. It is so powerful a machine that, if we get it right, we could use it to escape the house entirely. The demon is my only hope for returning to my old world. An escape from the house. You clink glasses with Dr. Delgado as the submersible rises. We'll call this Plan B. I have my scary dream plan, and then this is Plan B. You are deposited back on the Tarwater shore and hurry back to the Kinetopede. Searchlights sweep overhead. Sirens blare. The submersible vanishes beneath the waves. So, this idea about knowing all the things, being able to comprehend the universe as sort of a thing of clockwork, and then the thing that's supposed to do that being called the demon, had me thinking, hey, I don't remember exactly what Laplace's demon is. There's a philosophical concept called Laplace's demon. But I should go look that up after the episode, in case that's what they're making reference to, and then the Frogman. So, maybe that is in fact what it is, the idea of a clockwork understandable universe. Let's wander the streets. Let's find some stuff. The street encircles a cog. Okay, we fell into the thing. The guy jumped us again. Yeah, let's listen to this weird dude. The old man's breath is hot and horrible. You should stay down here with me. Down here we'll be safe when the presence rises. Yeah, we know the deal. Yeah, I totally believe you. Are you gonna give me a finger? Great. That dude just ran up on me and gave me the finger. We may as well repair our hull, right? And we'll rest and recover. Yeah, probably just the once. I think we're good. So, with that, I think we are out of time for today, but we have certainly stumbled upon some interesting new plot here, and I'm really pleased about how weird our crew is getting. So, when you come back next time, on Monday, we're going to see if we can't maybe advance some of that plot and get along with our new friend Laplace. And we'll see you then.